Yes.
We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to
Hello.
the 184 episode of DevKami. And I am Chile,
And I am Tristan.
and we are
And
streaming
swimming
here.
is out.
Streaming is it's out as a happier. So, yep. Let me share some. I'm a horrible human being. Let me click that. Share my screen.
Yeah, backstage we were talking about meetups and why people are still not going for the meetups. I think junior dev and DevOps were trying to do some meetups, but it wasn't as regular that I expected. I thought they were going to do
Yeah.
it like every month, but they're not. They only did it once, and then we're waiting for the next one, right?
Mm. Yeah. I'm appreciative lah, of at least Tristan is considered the next generation. So
Mm-hmm.
we were complaining about there were no people that were the no next generation to pick up. It's
Well, let's
a
see.
kind of
Maybe it's they have their own way, like before social media. Like we were the generation before social media, and then
yeah
social media
yeah
happened. This generation was there was social media from the beginning.
yeah we knew each other before we have what we call smartphone and
Yeah,
mobile internet everywhere. So probably communication became simpler these days.
yeah, yeah. So nothing.
So
No. What is tech up happening? Is it
take
still
up is
happening? It seems to be
take
happening
up is
every month.
happening regularly. It's
Yeah.
by the IO Foundation, but they are thinking about something to have a better engagement and impact because they feel like from what I heard is that they want to be more connected.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, it's just that other tabs. It's just that the it's just nothing much from my side. Yeah, just basically what I wanted to say is that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're around, just feel free to check it up. Actually, it's
Yep.
been
I
a
guess
while
that's
since I participated in Tech Up.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
the only meetup that seems to be happening right now.
yeah.
And the
Yes,
So,
because we're lazy as fuck.
nerdy meetup.
yeah.
Because we're lazy as hell.
Then
So
the
have you
rest is
covered?
coming up. We are talking about like why there were no next generation picking up the meetup and
Well,
stuff
the
like. And
reason
then Tristan
is
talk about we actually is actually a valid thing, which is I'll let swimming share his screen again.
Mhm.
Is that we actually knew each other before mobile phones, I mean smartphone and
Yep,
easy to access mobile internet.
yep,
So I would say that is one attribute because Tristan say there might be the newer generation might be having their own ways to be connected.
yes, they are. And you know what? Maybe we
Talk
should
maybe.
try to build that. And that is a bit hard, and that's how it goes.
Yeah,
Maybe I
but
should try to do it in my workplace.
don't complain that nothing is happening when you're not part of it. I would say.
Yeah, you know, it's something that I learned from the Taiwanese guys.
Oh, but Taiwanese is bloody active.
Yeah, because okay, for the civic tech community that I joined, so that when nobody do something well, they are the nobody, right? They
And
are
from
the
what I saw from during for Sina and stuff, is that the Philippines folks were pretty active in
if
that
anything,
that
they're very happy when it comes to the PyCon that I know them from lah.
No,
So
not even that. Even the back then when it's about civic tech or anything.
yeah, correct. So let's start with we're going to talk about event. Have you shown our book
No,
page?
not yet. I'll gonna let you do it.
Okay, so we have book page. We'll cover that later because we can. Here's is the interesting one. Uh, so Stack Overflow runs on on-prem server, and it decided
Prefer.
and
Sorry.
they decided that an SQL SQL Server running on 1.5 terabyte RAM is more effective than caching page fragment on with Reddit, and it's a monolith. So the moral of the story here is, if you know what you're doing,
But
anything can be
the SQL
fast.
Server is a monolith. I don't think you can.
No, 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 no.
Uh,
The application is a monolith. The SQL Server is a it's a very traditional backend with a
I don't think
application
that's
and
wrong with
database.
it. Is that
yeah,
if
it's
you can
there's only one thing that Stack Overflow does, right? It doesn't do any kind of automation like a Zapier style. You do something like that.
No, no, no.
There's not
Yeah,
really
yeah,
a lot of thing you can do with microservices. It's one application that you can do as a monolith. Sorry, Chilong, you were
yeah,
saying
correct.
something about there's nothing wrong with it being a
there's
monolith.
nothing wrong if you can scale vertically.
Yeah, correct. If you have the resource, you can do it.
Yeah.
If you know
If
how to do it, you can do it.
scaling vertically is just harder for most
It's,
people in
it's
this.
also more expensive because you have to the hardware is expensive instead of like
Yeah.
scaling
Correct.
horizontally where you have a lot of cheap
Yep,
hardware to
yep.
throw in. The problem there is the coordination, right? Because now you have
Hmm.
parallel processing, you have to coordinate all of these things. But
Correct.
vertically, it's a lot easier actually to scale. If you have the money to scale to pay the hardware for scaling
Hmm.
vertically, it's a lot easier to scale vertically.
Yes.
You just
In
add more
fact,
memory and then you just fine. Right? You don't have
and
to do
often,
like parallel processing anywhere.
yep. And in the earlier application, doing vertically is okay until you know you need what you need. And by the time you have that, then you can handle the
Well,
complexity.
again, in the older days, it's easier to do vertical because the network speeds were not as good as we have right now. Right? You
Yeah,
can only really do scale horizontally if the bus between nodes is wide and fast. But because
yes,
in a vertical integration, sorry, in vertical scaling, then it's a given that since everything is on the same machine, then your communication pathways are very fast, right?
correct. So
So
yeah,
which
lah.
is why it's only really recently, like 2000, 2010, like where network speeds became faster, and then even across continents, it's just a lot wider and faster that you can actually have scaling horizontally as a valid alternative.
Yep. So just to add something on top, Shopify actually go to they do a sort of monolith. So instead of microservices, they're modularizing, right? So what they're
Yeah.
doing instead of going from
There's no it's even when you do it is that when you write code is that it's not a mutual exclusive thing. You can write
no,
a monolith code base that can be deployed modularly.
yeah, correct.
Yeah. That's
So
at least that's what I did. And also for people that familiar with like Docker and stuff, that's what it did.
yes,
Yeah.
and in this case, they also do things like setting as component, as in traditional software components, than
Mm,
things like microservices, right?
mm,
So yeah, if it works for them, it works for them. Put it this way, do not be dogmatic about technology. That's one thing I would like to say, lah.
mhm.
So a lot of thing is whether you can do it, and you should measure it before you make a decision.
You know, I
Uh,
was showing the junior
mhm.
on. I had a conversation with a junior developer in the company.
Yep,
This afternoon about he having his imposter moment where
yep,
often he finds that his code might be not as good as he thought it is. And he has this hunch, and I told him that
mhm,
basically is that feeling is not going away, and that is the one
yep,
that make us better, push us to
yes,
find better ways to do things. And also, then I show him like coders at work,
yes,
and the page I flipped through was interview with Simon Peyton Jones, and he talked about
yes,
him not being able to grasp OOP fully, something like that. So yeah,
yep,
it's it's uh
Hmm.
it's don't be too dogmatic about one
yes.
thing.
In
But
fact,
at the same time,
uh-huh,
I feel that these like microservices, like doing microservices first, is like something like an too early, premature
Yeah,
optimization.
optimization.
Like you try to
Because
immediately do things when
yeah,
you don't really need it like at that level, especially
yeah.
when you're starting, and then you
yep,
immediately go for like
Then yeah,
serverless or like all of these microservices and all of these things. You're just adding too much
Yep.
complexity in the beginning that you
Yep.
don't need,
Complexity is
thinking
it's
that
Correct.
you're
you
getting
need it
overheat
eventually, so you just
before
do it.
yeah. You're
Exactly.
getting overheat first.
Hmm.
Yes.
that's that's why for startup reels still prevails.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
then
pretty yeah,
you have that those microservices, and then you end up struggling with the coordination and orchestration
Yeah.
without
yes.
even getting to actually doing the product
You know, one of the
Correct.
like def-
Donald Duff quote is that I think it is from him is that if you're smart enough to do it, you're not smart enough to debug or to fix it.
Yeah.
Something along the line of that. I might be paraphrasing or wrong, but
Put it this
something along
way,
the line.
one of my favorite thing I like to say in the office is worst have happened. There is worst code. Okay, of course, I almost always add that at least it's not code, bro, but it's not that, right? But worst did happen, and chances is your code is not. It's not the worst thing on planet. On
Mm.
average, the code is fine. It's fine. Just don't overdo things. Please measure your code. Even if you do not measure it, it's fine. Worst have happened.
On average,
Worst.
if you optimize your code and you didn't measure
So
your
this one is
bottleneck,
interesting,
the
and this
IO
is
might be
why
the
we
one that
like eBPF. So let's start. So
because niche.
in some operating system, you
Nobody
can check
likes
your you actually
nobody likes a
your,
snitch.
find out your network traffic by application. I think Windows does that. I think Windows does that, and I believe my phone died. God damn it!
What?
I know Windows did that. Windows did that. Sort of old firewall application does that. So now Linux can do this as well. I mean, the previous probably can do it, but this one, how they do it using eBPF, so that you can actually check application that connect to the network, monitor bandwidth by executable, and they can actually check executable to virus total by comparing the hashes. So it's very cool as a sysadmin, uh, especially when you want to check if your machine got compromised, just in case, or you just want to know why an application is running like that. So yeah, it's a very cool tool. But the catch here is you need a ePPF supported kernel, so you need the packages, and you need kernels for that. So for example, get you may not get the latest from Ubuntu, for example. So you need to do some extra setup. But that being said, this is awesome. I want to try it somehow, but I got feeling I need to find the time. So what this
can you
does not
can,
just against check against this, but also provide chat and all that.
can
Yes,
you install it on like an
on a
open sense pf sense box, or does it need the
I don't
actual running process?
I don't know. Gut feeling says very likely possible. PF Sense is BSD, right?
Mm.
Well, I mean, it's something like that, like a firewall appliance. Doesn't
Oh,
have
yeah,
to
okay.
be
We
that
want to
one.
talk about fire. In short, yes, I believe it is, but I do not know how well those kernels support. Because for ePPF to work, you need supported kernel.
Yeah, I mean, you have the
So
kernel, but it's like top, for example, right? You can't run top on the firewall because you won't have the list of
yep,
running processes on the actual
yep.
computer. Does it work like that, or does it only
I
monitor the packets, or does it actually see like which process ID is doing this network? So it's not looking at the network packets, but it's looking actually at the LSO, or
ah
like the open file of the network.
I believe from what they right here, right, at the different process, open packet. I believe this is something that you have to install on the host you run, meaning on the
Mm.
server, but not on the routers. So you cannot install it on the router unless the router is the one that you want to monitor. You get it?
Hmm.
So yeah. So this is more of a server side uh, monitoring than a network level monitoring.
Yeah, because you were
So
talking about sysadmin, then that means every user needs to install this,
yeah,
instead of like just having it as part of your gateway.
yeah, you can't do it on the gateway, but this is more likely when you want to install it on your infrastructure,
Mm.
unless everybody on your company are using Linux, then yes, but it's a
Yeah,
bit
the thing
unlikely
about
lah.
infrastructure is you control what's being. Uh, I mean, a good workflow is you actually control what's being installed on the
Yes,
infrastructure, right? Like you either
correct,
have like
correct.
something like Ansible or like Chef
Yes,
or Docker. So you
correct,
don't have any exchange. You don't basically debug in production in that case. You don't run
correct, correct. You
things in
don't.
production. You deploy it to
Yes,
production.
but some of the use case that suggest is interesting, which is why like if there is every time we install something, we have something that we would know something is running.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
it's interesting
This
for
looks more
developers.
for desktop use than yeah than production use.
Yeah, makes sense as well. I mean, I would install it on my computer just to testing. Actually,
Yeah.
to be honest. So yeah, actually you're right because the first thing I'm thinking of before this right is actually I want to install it on this particular machine running Ubuntu. Oh well.
Mhm.
So yeah, if I installed it over the one of the long weekends, I will tell you guys how it goes lah. So this one, I'm going to open multiple tabs so that we can save time. YOLO 6, chess, and okay, I'm going to start with this first. Uh, so this increased pricing for IDE and all the tools. So uh,
Do you use
so
the
the next
Python JetBrains one?
correct. So it will be a
Do you
bit
use it?
yes.
Mhm.
I use PyCharm. I use PyCharm. So this will impact me to be honest. So yeah. So la la la.
I don't know if people in the Ruby community still use the Ruby mine for
Yeah.
Ruby, but I feel that at least in the generation that I was used to, um, we don't use IDEs. Like, I mean, I don't know.
Uh,
Rails developers might be different now, but Rails developers just don't really use IDEs that much.
Actually, Python developers don't use IDE unless you need it. So in my case, I use it. I know how to use it. I understand the. I know how to. I know how to live without an IDE, meaning I can navigate around Vim. But I appreciate the convenience of having the IDE to help me manage my dependencies, watch for dependencies, generate stuff, do remote connections and all that. I
Because
appreciate it. I do not have to use it.
I
Yeah,
understand Java or C Sharp, you almost need IDEs because there's just too
correct,
many things to type and you
correct.
have a
And
lot of things
yeah,
think.
and also the kind of the you need the lint actively checking the code for
Yeah.
you as well.
Well,
Correct.
because like for example, in VS Code, you already have linters. You have the
Yeah.
Yes.
language server protocol that automatically like that already tells the like let's say VS Code
But
what
for
the
Java, I
syntax
would
is.
say JetBrains is still
Yeah.
more superior.
Hmm.
Correct.
No, but
Yeah.
So
Java, I understand the use of the IDE. It's just for scripting
yes,
languages or for some things like um, Go, which has very good support for
yes,
syntax checking
yes,
outside of the IDE. Then
yes.
I don't know. I'm not sure if people
It's good
use them.
convenience.
It's it's the extra convenience factor really.
Mm.
So for
Yeah,
example,
these days the convenience also includes Copilot for me.
correct, correct. So yeah, most of these days is about so if you have IDE, you do not need this because you would know how to handle all the integration with all these tools, right? But with IDE, it just make it a little better. Not by yeah, enough to be useful, not enough that you think that you have to use it, right? So
Yeah.
that's the thing, lah. So yeah, lah. But it got expensive starting October. So my my subscription, I need to pay my subscription end of this month. So it'll be a while. It'll be a while. So it should be fine. So yeah, lah, it get a bit expensive. Now this one, he he he. So
How much you are paying per month?
no, I'm not paying per month. I'm paying per year.
Okay.
Yeah, how much are you
So I'm
paying per
paying
year?
almost 800 a month, a year.
800
I'm not.
a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to do
No,
something.
I
I'm going
know.
to
I
find
saw it. It's like it's around not 800. It's 80. Yeah, you buy the whole thing.
yeah. No, I only buy the language for a month. Let me
I
open up
saw
again
the
now.
annual price for that is
Oh
89, right?
wrong. Yeah,
Not
I
800.
really,
This scam me,
uh,
man.
I yeah, I opened up. I look at the wrong. I look at the
It's
wrong.
89 per month. Okay, per year for you, right? Oh,
I
it's
saw
the
that
new
actually.
price 99.
Yeah, 99
Okay.
days. Yeah. So third year onward, I actually paying this much actually.
Third year is 59 or 59, right? If you
Yep. So, but for this year, I probably going to pay this. But after this, I'm going to pay this. So yes. So yeah lah. Do I need it? No. Can I use it? Yes. And that's
it's
about it
good to
really.
support fellow developers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And also the database tools is so cool, but that's not a story. Then you can actually do the integration with
Yeah.
with
My
third
issue
party.
is that I never really use JetBrains stuff beside for
Yeah.
Java, but my issue with why I'm still stick to Emacs and VS Code is that I'm in at work also is I'm a polyglot. Like even one
Yeah.
project I have at least a few languages. So
Yes.
how does it handle it for you if you use
Uh,
this IDE?
for Python, it will work well if you do front end. So you do front end Python and SQL, and
Yeah.
this will work well.
Okay. What if I mix in
Then
some Go and
no,
some
it will not
Docker?
work that well. It will only work better if you use a full language pack, which is another story
Okay.
altogether.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
So
still not. I'm still not the targeted
correct.
customer.
I mean, yes, precisely. So let's
Because
start
that's the
with
same
this.
issue if they have an ID for Go as well. I think that's the
Correct.
issue as well. Like
Yes.
let's say for this project I might mix in like Go project I might mix in some Python and some PHP in that,
Correct.
which
Mm-hmm.
is
So
not even small code base.
yeah, it happens. So yeah. So I'm going to move on. So this is actually Timescale is a company that do data analysis, but this actually just summarizing that you can actually you can actually create uh, special function in PostgreSQL for you to
In time
actually use for your
series,
application
it looked very much like time series.
because their product is called Timescale. Okay, so let me open up the product. Their product is actually relational database for time series analytics tools for production use case. So that's their extension. But what I'm trying to say here is you can have
Oh, it's SQL
custom SQL for you to
like
do your work.
Yeah, I
So this
mean, time
actually
series queries are quite complex.
yeah,
It's
correct.
and often they are
it's one of
very
the
specific.
one of the things that your manager will always ask for, like reports, right? And then they
Yep.
have like all of these things, and it's not just like a combination of all of these. Like, give me all of the people here. You would They would always want something like a time series of like, okay,
Yeah.
divided into like days and all of these
Yeah. But
thing
Correct.
I
that
had another issue with some business people is that they don't understand is often in time series we we get rates instead of the unit.
hmm
Yeah, correct. So yeah lah, but well, it
The
is what
only
it
one that I
is.
used previously
Uh-huh.
was in InfluxDB.
Yes, in fact, we have
Uh,
that by default.
yeah. And notably is that they used to have SQL-like query, but these days they moved to their own DSL.
Correct.
Yeah,
Something that
they
just makes
gradually
sense.
hit they gradually I would say is they gradually hit a ceiling or bottleneck on that.
Yes, correct.
But this one is very
So
much like pure SQL to me because even the influx SQL doesn't work like SQL.
correct. So this is actually very SQL like and all that.
Very SQL.
So so the point of all this is that it can do it, but it's just that it's they're also selling the product lah. So so I'm going to move on. This is a history of lossless data compression. So they talk about where it comes from, where it develops. So you have two type dictionary compression and other where you have like LZ 77, which have developed all these. So yeah, this is a whole blog post about compression. So
It's
yes, anything
interesting
what?
because if you read through a few, if you take a few sample and read through them, is that they
Hmm.
it's just a very often they are just very smart tweaks
Yes,
that
correct,
remain similar.
correct. And believe it or not, a lot of these are about. A lot of this is about. Uh, so compression is very important in a way that it's used everywhere. Image processing, they will have something there. Video
As
will
we
have
transfer
something there.
bigger data, also is getting more important.
Your networking will have some component there. Then of course your browser have that. There's a, so yeah. So either way, check this out. Very cool because this actually show you how the algorithm works, and also the history of it. Sliding window algorithm, blah, blah. So it's very cool. So go through it and go
Very
move
cool.
on. This one is YOLO 6. Okay, so the TLDR for this is it's an improved YOLO algorithm. There's multiple of those. Most people would use YOLO 3. YOLO 4 and YOLO 5 is actually a different implementation by different group. It's not by the original author. The original author of YOLO actually quit computer vision because of where computer vision is used, surveillance and all that. So he decided that he don't want to do that anymore. So now different groups, which is companies mostly, actually release their version of YOLO lah. So now they have this company called DexHub. They actually have, no, DexHub actually is sharing. DexHub actually only share. DexHub only here to share data science result, but this is actually their blog. I do not know I do not know if they implement this, to be honest. But TLDR, this thing is just like they show you the number, how much improvement that is versus the previous YOLO version. And why people like YOLO as a model is because YOLO is actually fast. So you can actually put it on a Raspberry Pi as a CCTV, and it's actually fast enough. So, and I like YOLO because it's easy to deploy actually as an application. So YOLO 6 or about 36 versus 40 versus 28. This maps is what a crap. I don't remember. I don't remember now. Map. Okay, there's a value for that. So in short, it's about improvement. There's new model with improvement. So blah, blah. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna move on. Probably not important. This one, then also not important. This one is interesting. I don't like JavaScript. That's about it. But this actually show you how you would implement a chess engine. Even though I think the name sucks, but what the hell? Why not?
There's bias.
Yeah, no,
If
they
you
have actually said chessengines.org. I would actually expect to have multiple chess engine, right? But no, there's only one chess engine that they implement
it
here.
it might be a start, I would say.
Yeah, it could be. So either way, what's cool about this blog is that okay, a chess engine is not just about uh, rendering; it's about actually chess have their own notation, right? So the notation is in like A3, QX something. So it's about passing the notation, and then from the notation you need to convert the notation into decision tree, which is down here somewhere. Decision tree. So in this case, for example, for chess, for a long time you can actually use. Okay, before the 80s, 90s, you can use like red black trees for this, and it would be too big, which is too big because at that time computer is slow, so you don't have a that good a model. But until Deep Blue happened, so Deep Blue they use supercomputer and they use the same type of decision tree. It's called min-max tree, by the way, min-max algorithm. So they do a form of min-max tree with heuristic. So that, and they have to use a supercomputer to actually render the tree to beat Kasparov. Uh, but now this computer is so fast that it's as fast as Deep Blue, so you can literally have render the whole decision tree inside your the game tree inside your computer nowadays. So a potato can run it nowadays. So either way, this is showing you how you can implement a chess engine. Uh, so from rendering to parsing notation, and from notation how to make decision through min max tree. For min max tree, there is multiple form of min max tree, by the way. Min max tree. Oh
But
no, I almost showed you
it
my
has to be, it has to deal with like what are you minimizing and maximizing? I think that's the
correct, correct, correct,
important
correct,
question when doing the chess engine.
correct. So
And that's why you had that, like you suddenly had like points for
My question
pieces,
for swimming is
right?
that is that
yes,
is it zero cost?
ha ha ha. Nothing is zero cost, to be honest.
Yeah,
I want to.
but
Okay,
usually
the
for,
reason why.
yeah,
Uh huh.
for chess, right? Like pieces, at least originally they didn't have any like point value, and
Correct,
that's is the
correct.
problem for many of the chess players that I've played with, like
Yes,
recently, is that they always think like, okay, pawns are ones and bishops are
yes,
threes, knights are 3.5s, rooks are fives, and
correct.
all of these things. Like they won't sacrifice a rook just because, uh, like they
Of the
only get like
points.
a 3.5 for a horse or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
correct,
And they do the calculation, whereas they don't properly value the position, and that's the problem with
correct,
chess engines, is the how do you evaluate and put value on the position rather than just the
correct.
pieces. At least in the beginning, the chess engines are like that. They're very
Yes,
point based because that's easy. Just say, okay,
correct.
this is the
And
value.
I believe Deep Blue is also a point base because Minimax tree actually require you to have a point. It's
And
actually
you
one
need
of
to
the
have a
first
value.
standard.
You have to
Yeah, you need a
calculate the
value.
value in order to min max. That's the thing. That's what I was talking about. When you have a min max
Correct,
algorithm, the important problem there is not the algorithm, but um, what, how do you evaluate the value? How do you create that algorithm such that it assigns a value to something, and that, because that's what you're
yes,
min maxing. That is the biggest question about min max algorithms. Like,
correct.
how do you assign value?
Yes. So yeah, in short, so either way, the algorithm so it's about point minimax and all that. Is precisely what Tristan said. To be honest, so this is actually very educational. I suggest you read it as said because it's cool. I just don't like JavaScript. That's about it. But otherwise, the content is awesome.
Well, at least you don't like one language, not all the languages.
No,
Mhm.
the language I really hate is actually COBOL and PHP. I merely tolerate JavaScript.
And I think
So
these articles that talk about algorithms, they're okay to be written in JavaScript because they can reach a large audience, because more or less almost all developers would know a little about JavaScript, and they can
correct.
read JavaScript, right? It's almost like English. Everyone can read English. They have their own preferences in
Yeah,
oral language, but
yeah,
yeah, people can read English at least, and they can understand what is being told. So
correct.
that's the, but then that's the problem with standards, right? Like people don't always like standards, so they would like rather have something else.
Yes,
But the benefit of standards is that, yeah, you have a common ground to talk about.
yes, correct. So yeah, so which
Doesn't
is
mean
why I
that you
have
have
to
to use
tolerate.
it though.
Well, unfortunately, in my case, I have to use it because it's a democracy. So people decided JavaScript is the language, even though I think it's a bit stupid. But whatever, not my call now. Let's move on. So as it turns out, actually one of the question from the link that I actually forget is why don't database index themselves? I mean, the long answer is because indexing existing data takes resource for a big database.
It's
But
expensive.
Yeah,
yes,
create, like, when do you write the index, right? Do you write it when a record is written? Then that means all of your record writes have that
Yeah,
have that
it
performance.
slows down your write.
Hmm. Do
correct.
you index
The
it
more
after? Then you have
Yeah,
to
Yeah,
write
and
the
also the
index
more
in
records you have
sequence.
in order to re-index, the more it has
Yeah.
to.
correct. So, but that being said, there's a half of the question. There's a half answer for his question, as it turns out, I know I discovered that IBM database, DB2 database engine that actually have that kind of thing. It's not fully automated, but there is a expert mode to recommend index that you can apply later. So as I discovered later, SQLite have this thing as well. So SQL expert, you can call the expert command, and you try to run a query, typical query. Then that will suggest the index that you should create. So then you just create the index now. So it will not create it automatically for you, but it can analyze the query for you.
Well, if you're using a framework's what they call this, like ORM and
ORM,
migration tool, most of the time, the framework will suggest you the correct index to use. Like if you're doing a relation, like a has many
yeah,
relation to the other, then it will
yeah,
suggest that you index
Mm.
the the like the foreign key because it will help in performance, right?
The
So most of
one
the
that you
yeah,
time,
look
but
up, yeah,
yeah,
the one that you look up
the best
regularly.
practices are usually encapsulated in those ORMs.
yeah, I know. But I discovered recently for a Rails application that I have maintained. Okay, recently, as in 3 4 months back. For some reason, some of the relations are not no relations are automatically indexed, so that's given because
Hmm.
it's a foreign key. Foreign key are almost always indexed.
Yep.
There is so what happened is there is a field that's almost get referred all the time. It's not set as a foreign key, but it's not set as a relation. It did not get indexed. I have to manually add an index, but I suspect also it's because the thing is not a foreign key, so the ORM did not treat it as a special case.
Hmm.
So that is one thing as well. But that being said, there's time where I have to do things like that, as in
Yep.
manually set an index for
Hmm.
things to work. And yeah, so but then that project, thankfully, well, it might happen soon. Oh well, that's a future, not important now. Uh, what important is learn about this. To be honest, this thing is just nice to learn now. This one I'm going to. This actually VS Code server. I did not manage to set up the voice to actually route sound from YouTube to streaming maybe later. But this is a video. But
That's how
this is the one that
you
this one I
can
can
develop
share.
on your iPad.
Yes. So the idea here is you can install the server on your desktop, like me, for
Yeah.
example.
Basically on
Then
any device that you have, like Raspberry Pi or something, and you
correct,
don't
correct.
have to. So it easily so because on the engineers on my Slack, right, there were like
Yeah,
code servers or Git pod or all of these things.
yeah, correct, correct.
It requires you to actually have uh, open ports and an addressable thing. So you either need to set up
Yes.
a VPN so that you can VPN into your computer or whatever
Yep,
server there is, or it has you have to install it on the server with an IP address, or and then you have to open
correct,
ports and all of these things. Then of course you have to
correct.
set up firewalls because
Yeah,
otherwise people can access
which
your device.
uh not really not really sponsored by
Yeah,
Tailscale, but Tailscale make
yeah,
that much
it's
simpler.
I'm also
Yes,
using Tailscale. It's a lot simpler to access everything else.
Yeah,
But
I'm
this one makes it a lot easier
yeah.
to like
correct,
it simplifies a lot of the process, which is why
correct.
I like this one. If
Yep.
like because most developers wouldn't know how to set up and secure a server themselves, right? And
Yes,
this one is
yes,
this one just gives like takes care of all of these issues.
correct. So yes, so yeah, so this is actually very cool, but you probably don't use it in a shared environment. This is on your own machine. So this is almost always for your own thing. Uh, so just be careful about this. But yes,
Because what
very
you can do right now is because what's available, I think it did talk about it on the top, right? In 2019,
yeah,
something, something. And
yeah,
if you scroll up, they talk about it. You can already do something like this, where you have something like a VPN, like what I
yeah,
use is Tailscale, and then you can run an SSH session into the Linux machine through VS Code server
yes,
and you
correct,
do VS Code remote through SSH. It's almost like this now because you can open
yeah,
ports or you can open all of these things. and
Correct.
it's secure because you're under a VPN, and then the what do you call this? The access, it's not available for access outside. You
Yep.
only get access right through inside the VPN. So
Correct.
this is just a different one where it gets rid of the VPN because now um, you basically the connection
They
is
set up the tunnel for
negotiated through
you.
the Microsoft servers. Yeah.
Yeah, the Microsoft provide the tunnel and the automation for you to
Hmm.
connect to it. So and
Yeah.
this
So
a lot
right
more
now,
convenient.
if I want to code on an iPad or an
Yep.
tablet, which I install Tailscale and then I do VS Code Server through
Yep.
the browser on that,
Correct.
it's still fine.
Yep. So I'm going to move on. This is like new speculative execution attack. So yeah, yet another attack on this
Yeah. So your
level.
cloud servers are going to be slower now, because this is really
Yes,
impacting a lot the cloud servers.
it's correct.
Your local laptop probably doesn't need this so much,
Yeah, correct.
because you're not exposing it to outside actors. But yeah,
Yes.
this is a problem for cloud servers.
Yep. When
So
when
this
you are multi-tenant.
Mhm.
correct. So I'm going to move on quickly as well. Actually, we have time. What the hell I move quickly about? So
Nice
this is
one.
a new book. I can I download this?
It's free, right? I think it's a free book.
Hmm. I should read
No,
it.
this is
Yeah,
not a
go
book.
ahead. Just download on the left for the yellow button.
No. This is the book.
Uh,
This is the book.
No,
That is
this
actually
is part
postgraduate.
one. This is
ah,
just part
Yeah.
one.
Yes.
so part one is free.
Yeah. No, it's available. The other book will follow. Meaning it will
Ah,
release
It's a
later.
live. It's a live book.
mm.
Yeah.
Or
So
like
they actually
what do you
tell
call early access, like Baldur's
correct.
Gate.
You know, it reminds me of use the index loop.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, precisely. So the first book is about isolation and MVCC. So let's download this anyway. So this part book they cover like buffer cache and all that. So yeah. Do
Even
you need it? Probably not. Is it useful?
even this is
Maybe.
very useful already. The part just for the part one.
Yeah, it's good
Really? Why?
to read up, even if you're not
Correct.
going to use it or expect to use it at work, because you will appreciate like what exactly is happening,
Precisely.
and
Precisely.
it changes the way you make decisions.
And more importantly, this once you read it, you have an index in your head. So you when these weird things happen, you had an index of things to think about as well.
Mhm.
And maybe even come back to this book to know that there's a solution here, maybe. You know what I mean? So this is the point of reading all this book, even though you're not going to immediately use it.
Mhm. You can
So
add
yeah,
this to your book list.
yes, I will. I will. So
Speaking
I'm
of the
going
book
to
list, I guess we're going to the book list now.
yep. So the last one is OpenSSL had had a fix, means I will be busy for a while.
Yeah,
Let me
or
post this.
that means IoT devices again are like a
Yeah.
problem
You have to
because
throw it away
you
and
can't.
you have to throw it away.
Throw it to
You have to
me
throw it.
or
Yeah, if you can't
Yeah.
gonna
update it because it's somewhere like in a building or something, now it's
Correct.
insecure.
Or because I'm DevOps lead, I don't even know what my role really means. It means that when there's update, I need to do it.
You know, we have a blog post that we're still editing called "DevOps is Going the Way of Scrum," where like
Yes.
Scrum has been like it was a good thing, but then consultants came in and destroyed the whole
yeah,
idea of it, and now people hate it. And
Yes.
now DevOps is going the same thing. That DevOps was a great
Yeah.
idea of getting developers to like operations the way Knock has been doing it,
yeah.
but
It's
then
bridging
consultants
ops
came
and
in.
dev. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's just like, but what exactly is happening? Are you just creating Kubernetes configurations? That's the value that you're giving.
That's not
But that's
DevOps.
but then
Yeah. That's
what's the benefit? Okay, you can create configuration, but then
I
okay,
would say these days people just give themselves SRE title just for
yeah.
yeah. To be honest,
flashiness.
that's what it is, right? But what I'm doing right now is, which is why I don't like the title, but I do have a job in the way that
Yeah.
we should. So one of the motto, quote unquote, because it sounds corny, So we are supposed to.
What?
So
You
my
don't have you don't have a Latin motto
I should do that, but you know what? I will figure
or a
out
coat of
after
arms?
this. So essentially, the goal here is to make the right thing easily done. Make it easy to do the right thing. That's a goal. That's a goal of team, right? Which is why we automate the test, we automate the deployment, we keep secrets in the secret store somewhere. We make parameters hosted on the parameter services, right? A parameter store somewhere. Uh, so that's a goal, but what does that make me as a title? I don't even know anymore. I don't actually care.
Yeah, because
So
what's happening is that DevOps is being equated to system administration and
yeah, so in
automation.
this no,
Yeah,
But it's not
except
always.
I'm not.
Where's
yeah.
the dev in there? Like
I mean,
you're
Yeah, in this
there's
case, I still
it's
had to
not
script
DevOps.
things.
It's just sysadmin. Is that
yeah.
it
Yeah,
goes back to the old days of everything you have to ask the sysadmin.
Yeah, you have
You're
to
like, give
no,
throw
me a
it
in
over
little
this
the
case,
bit.
wall. That's the
Yeah,
but
problem.
in yeah, but
it's
here's the thing. All the developers can still deploy stuff. They can deploy stuff on their
But they've
own.
been always been able to deploy stuff even without
yeah.
Yes,
DevOps.
but
That's the
Yeah,
yes,
thing.
even
but
like before that, I mean, before like this DevOps stuff, there were like Git ops and chat ops or something.
Yeah,
yes,
or
they will have all
email me
these.
your WAR file and then the sysadmin deploys
Yeah,
it on the other
but
side. So that's the thing.
yeah, so which is a bit silly, which is why I say if we're going to therefore I don't know
I
what I
would say
provide.
DevOps is was originally to bridge, like allow the dev to have the ops access and
Yep,
ops to be
yes,
able to to provide conveniences for the dev.
Yeah. Like break
yes,
down the wall between the two.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
use
yes,
Jira to send tickets like please optimize my query or like please
yeah.
deploy
It's
this
not my
or
job.
no,
And
yes,
sysops
yeah,
says
what Tristan
please
mentioned.
optimize your
Yeah,
query.
what Tristan mentioned is DBA.
Yeah.
yeah,
Now
but
DevOps.
No, yeah,
but
everything is now like, oh, not my issue. Like, I did my job.
yes, yes,
It passed the
but that's the thing,
test.
right?
It passed the test, so
Yeah,
it passed the build.
yeah, but when you deploy something goes wrong, now we have to figure out what is wrong, right? Then we had to
Yeah, see, DevOps figures out the things that's wrong, not the
yeah,
developer
which is not
itself
And
themselves.
which is
also,
why
What is happening?
which is
yeah,
I don't know if the proper DevOps
and
environment
what
the
is
developer
happening
figure
with
it out.
where DevOps give themselves an artificial upgrade of calling themselves SIE.
Yeah, but which is why I try to make sure that I don't get like nice title or the
SIE
I don't
is, I would say SIE is really a off job. It's actually not DevOps. I was unpopular
yes
opinion. It
yes
is
I
those people that are the what we call the people that are first in the scene
Yeah.
when something bad happens.
Well, so I had this story with one of the clients that we had before. Um,
yeah
the site was down for like 15 minutes, and so SRE
yes
came because they're like site reliability and etc. And then they say, okay, and then can I close this ticket now because the site is up again, and that's it. Like there's
yeah
no debriefing, there's no figuring out what to do
That
so that this
is,
doesn't happen again. Like what happened to site reliability? Like
I would say
you're
that
just
is a
waiting for
wrong
it to go
SIE
up, it's
even.
up.
yeah
Mhm.
That's a wrong SIE. Is that
Yeah.
yes,
yes
we have to solve the current symptom, which is the downtime. Then the
yes
next is actually to fix it.
Yeah.
yes
No, they
Without
just
that,
but
like,
in
it's
okay,
not
those
we'll close the
SIE.
ticket because it's done, it's up again.
yeah but
And so
that's not the
anyway,
job
yeah, that's
that's not the
the
job so you need
It's
to
just
understand it's not the
glorified
job
title. I would say it's just a
yeah
glorified title.
precisely
I think with I think Tristan nailed it with like it's going the way of Scrum, where the spirit is no longer there.
mhm.
It's
correct
just a form or a ritual that people follows.
yes right so except in my case nobody actually follow everything so I don't care anymore I
Oh,
just make sure
I'm
that
fine with it. It's that the
yeah
process should feed the people.
yes precisely is ideally my job should be I should automate my way to till I will be jobless. That's what my goal.
If a process is too painful,
Yes,
people are gonna find way to circumvent it.
correct. So so
Mhm.
time for announcement. So remember that we talked about a top 10 book list. I have part of the list out. The bad news
I did.
is
I didn't read any book. This year.
I did not. I'm still working out how the format goes and how to populate it. I do not have a strong format yet, so if you have idea, do tell me. So
Uh,
currently, we have a few upgrades that we already discussed. Like for example, this list should be a YAML file, but
okay.
we need
I'm gonna add some in.
but it's not in YAML file yet, but it will be soon over the weekend. Uh, then another thing to add also is what else? Oh yeah, we will add more metadata. Of course, this thing needs a link and also added by who I do not know. I don't know what metadata to add, but at least the author and genre.
Yeah, and we
And
need to add like automated affiliate links for
yeah, so that we can
Amazon,
make some money.
Yep.
Then we
so
also
that
talk about
Seaman can
specific.
buy more stuff.
Yes. So yeah, our book list is up. It's a work in progress. We will add more stuff as needed, and also so that we have something useful for you guys, and without scaring you guys,
So
because
Yeah.
I'm
yeah, are we
seriously
done with
Economics
this
is a
one?
considering.
economics
Uh
is
huh.
a really good field of
Yeah,
study.
because I just got my
Uh huh.
Dolly invite approved, and
Oh,
if you
cool.
want, we can for the next 10 minutes, for at least until the thing ends, we can just play around with Dolly for a bit. Do you
Sure.
want that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Share
Like
the
you share the
chat.
link. Yeah, I'm going to remove myself.
Okay, Dolly. So what do you want to try? I like the
I want.
surprise me. So it says let me enlarge a sea otter with a pearl earring by Johannes Vermeer. So this is like an automated thing, like surprise me.
What's the
So
quota?
I
How's the quota?
don't know. I just got it, so I don't. I'm not really sure. I just want to play around with it for a bit.
Okay.
And this is a
So
the proper
mhm,
DALI where it
yeah,
generates
this is
better
the actual
stuff.
Dolly. This is not
Yeah.
like some open AI, some like
It's
self-hosted
not the one
open
that we
AI.
play around with.
Mhm.
Yes. Crayon. There's the mini Dali.
Yeah.
Okay, it does take some time. So,
Yep.
all right. So there you go. This is a sea otter with a
Well,
pearl earring in the style of
this
Johann
looks so
Okay.
Vermeer.
nice. The quality
Okay.
is so much different.
Yeah,
Yes.
the,
Okay.
the
Try
this
this.
brush strokes are
Uh-huh.
very there are there. It's very
Right.
cool. So what do you want? What do you want to search for?
Space dinosaur walking on the moon.
Walking on the moon. As longer specific descriptions tend to work best. Okay,
Walking on the
yeah,
moon
it
is
does.
in case. Okay. Never mind. It's too late.
Yeah, it does. It does take some time, and also, so
Okay.
I was doing some like playing with it a few hours ago. Uh, it does have a way to report biased content because when I search for developers something something like doing work on
Uh-huh.
something like that, and all of the developers were male, and so you can actually
Okay.
report an issue and then you can put
Okay.
biased content.
Okay.
Oops, no, it got reported, but anyway, maybe because the dinosaurs are all T-Rexes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
Okay.
a
Assume them
bias.
I'm just
yourself.
I'm just no, I'm reporting it. I'm just like justifying my report. All
Yeah.
the dinosaurs are T-Rexes. There are more, like we need dinosaur diversity or something like that.
Yes.
So yeah, so it's a
Uh
space
huh.
dinosaur walking on the moon. Oh, this is not a T-Rex, but okay.
I would
This is a
cryptocurrency
T-Rex.
crash.
Okay. Cryptocurrency crash. Yeah, so it's a good thing for, especially for making, how would you say, like blog post leaders, like banner images. I think
Hmm.
that's it's a good one. What is this?
Pan. Oh, okay.
I think concepts are not very good. So because
Okay.
it's a concept, but if you have like, if you're thinking about like the graph going downwards, I think that you would want to describe that.
Hmm.
crab crab eating free lunch. Oh, a crab eating zero cost lunch. Zero cost. Zero cost lunch, not free.
Yes.
Mm.
You typed wrongly. This is about
Crap.
Oh
Rust.
no,
No,
you
crap.
can't do
Crap.
crap.
Crap. As a
Crab.
B. Crap. Not crap. Crap.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah, it does take a
Uh,
long
in
time.
before he came out with the Dung Eater of Elden Ring.
yeah.
Mm.
Walking with robot dinosaur.
Well, there's a, I think it's
Oh.
a crab.
Okay, this is a crap. Oh, it looks
I
really
think
nice. The quality
it's
is.
not eating anything
Yeah.
because it's a zero cost lunch. I guess that's the thing.
Okay, let's try this. Let's try find thinking.
Wait, let me take this screenshot.
Blue bird. Bluebird. Okay, bluebird something. Think of complete for me. Bluebird.
Flying in the open skies
Yes.
with stars
Yes.
like this.
I think this will be overly realistic, which have interesting implication.
We'll see.
If it's realistic enough, then if somebody actually
Oh, I know.
this,
That's
submit
that's
this
some-
that to I don't know, iNaturalist for trolling, that would be really
Yeah.
interesting.
So not
Oh,
realistic
I
at
have
all.
something. I have something. This is inspired by swimming.
Yeah.
Nerdy dragons. Dragon play houses and humans.
Do you want to bring up that comic?
Yeah, I lost the link.
Okay.
I find it. It's a long. I need to
Oh,
What is
dig it
okay.
this?
where.
Drone Dudakton. I don't know. I'm confused.
Well,
So
it
I
looks like
guess there's dice
there's
and then
nice
there are
always.
dragons. I don't
Yeah.
know what
Let
this
me
is.
show you. It's from yesterday. Oh, okay. Here
I mean,
you are.
there's a house and there's a human.
Yep.
So I guess that's the thing.
But the,
La, la, la.
the quality is so much better.
All right.
Yeah.
So Swimming wanted to share something.
Yeah. I'm finding the link.
But that was generated by Dali as well, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
those are all generated by Dolly, and so, yeah, it's I just got the. You should try to ask for beta access.
Yeah, here you are.
It came after 3 months. I think I asked for access for like a few.
Let me
Let's
download
go.
this. Can I download? Yes, I can download. Okay, let me open up and make sure I don't show porn.
Prawn.
Okay, so I'm going to share. Okay, so the thing is, because one of the chat room people don't actually are not on Facebook, so I had to download the image instead of attributing to the original author. So yeah,
Oh, you knew
uh,
you knew it. You knew the person who shared.
yeah. So let me find that. Timbuktu. Oh, my team is called Timbuktu. So, yep, allow. So this is the one.
Oh, okay. So it's not generated by Dali.
No, it's not. This is actually a actual comic. So yeah. So yeah, next week. What happened next week? I do not know what happened next week. Maybe I actually finish the book side.
We
Maybe
can't predict
maybe we,
more.
yeah. Maybe we even sell books now. Who knows? Maybe I'm going
What
to
about
get this
links,
book.
affiliate links?
Yes. Maybe you should help me get this book, just because. Let me show you. Let me share. I want
Well,
to
next
get
week,
the.
Swimming is going to share what he did with the NRF of 2020.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I would say this one is just you collect it as if you have a really large bookcase.
Yeah, I'm going to get these to one day I'm going to get these to scare
I don't
junior
think
global.
I don't even think people read it.
No, this book exists
Yeah.
only to scare junior developers.
No, and also it's good. Like it's like a painting, right? It's a showpiece.
Yeah,
You keep it
yeah.
Yes,
You
there.
just if you have a big bookcase, it's good to show.
yes,
And then you sometimes open it a bit, figure it
mm,
like, and then be intimidated by all of the stuff there, and then put it back in the bookcase.
yes,
So like that's
yes,
how it is. That's
yes.
its function.
Oh my goodness, it's like, oh my god, swimming is a code god. That is, you should,
Yeah, you put it on
yeah,
an altar. You can put it on an altar maybe.
yes,
Then
In the
you do
Norway,
like
and
rituals
in the
three
Norway
times a
is a
day.
code called.
Mm.
yeah, yes.
Like,
It's like,
but
I mean, I already had
like
that reputation.
yeah,
I
Donald
already had
Booth
the,
is a dev kami, a dev god, developer god.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. On the other hand, I already had some kind of their reputation in the office anyway, because I optimize the database query and I do advent of code every year. So I
I don't
have
know
that.
the optimizing database query. I don't think it's
No, it's
something
not. It's not.
that's
It's some, apparently not enough people know how to do it other than me, right?
mm,
And that is a bit ridiculous in my side, in my opinion.
yeah,
It's I would thought that it's a common knowledge. I would thought that, but apparently it's not in that circle. In that
yeah.
circle.
Because
So
I don't know if yeah, being able to optimize database query is particularly praiseworthy and something that you would add in your resume. Like
yes,
if
correct.
I saw someone's put like can optimize database queries, I would think like I
Yes,
okay, but why are you putting that in the resume? Like that's something that I would
yes,
have expected you to do. But I guess
correct, correct.
things are
Yeah, it's
different
like
now. So
know how to use Linux.
yeah,
Yes. Except
it's
you will
it's
impress people with that
mm,
nowadays.
it's the
Okay.
modern version of like can use Microsoft Word and Microsoft
Yeah.
Office, something
Yes.
like that.
Okay
Because at
lah.
least I
So,
remember in the like in 1990s, that
yep.
was what you were supposed to put in your resume. Like can use
Yeah,
Microsoft
but not
Word.
Yeah.
tech job, right?
Yeah. For
I
some
guess
reason,
tech jobs are the same. I don't know. I
I don't
guess
know. I mean,
can use NetBeans.
for some reason, people no nowadays it's like can use AWS, can use Lambda, which is really silly. So you put like Linux. That come on, everybody know Linux. Then apparently all the chaining, all the pipe command one liner scares people. So with that said, stay tuned for next week where we're going to complain about modern day developers, starting with damn kids
Uh,
and get off of my servers.
that's what we did
So with
every
that
week.
said, yes. So with that said, thanks for coming, thanks for listening, and we have two people staying throughout the night. Yay, thanks. So good night and see you next week then. Have a good
Bye.
press
See you.
podcast.